Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we as a group 5 we are going to present our discussion about a book entitled Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. But first of all, let me introduce our member of group. First is Niaida Dolailina, and second is Hilda Fadila, and the third is Ipung Toto Andriawan, and the last is Muhammad Dipta Aditya. So, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad is one of the most popular book in the world. Now, I'll tell about the summary of this book. The summary of Heart of Darkness book is: at sundown, a cruise ship named the Nelly lies anchored at the mouth of the Thames waiting for the tide to rise. Merlot and his friends relax on the deck. Then Merlot tells a story of the first time he captained a steamship going up to the Congo River. He told his friends he once signed on to the boat upriver in Africa. Merlot explains that he undertook the trip while working for a European ivory extraction operation. The company hired Merlot in Europe and gave him the task of picking up one of its agents in Africa, a man named Kurtz, to relieve him of his duty. Apparently, Kurtz employed questionable methods for collecting more ivory than any of the other company stations. Merlot traveled to Africa. He disembarked at the coastal outer station, but he got problem. His boat was sink. He waited for 3 months. He saw so many bad things in the station, such as racism to the black man, worker who doesn't work well, and also Merlot heard a lot of story about Kurtz. They said that Kurtz was a genius, superior, and highly influential person. Some claimed that Kurtz was dead, but some believed that Kurtz still alive. Eventually, the boat is repaired and they continued the road to the river.
On his way to find Kurtz, he found a bug by the river. After entering the bug, he understood that it was occupied by a white man with a mysterious book. Then they went on the route, and after a very foggy morning, they heard screams and the native inhabitants speaking from deep in the forest. Marlowe found out that they were cannibals, and one of them went sailing and became a captain ship. One day, they were blocked by smoke. After the fog cleared, the steamer was attacked by the natives, and the captain's ship was killed. The natives attacked because they didn't want Kurtz had been taken by them. Upon reaching the inner station, they met the Russian and said that Kurtz was still alive but in the bad condition. Kurtz became a god of an indigenous tribe and became brutal, so they decided to save Kurtz. After he was taken to the ship, he looked so weak and only could lie down. In that place, Kurtz gave a letter and a photograph of a young girl and told him to give her loved one a message. After that, Kurtz died on the ship and he was buried on the river bank in a muddy field as soon as he arrived in Europe. Merlot was confronted by harbor guard and reporter who urged him to give all his things and report about Kurtz. But Merlot declined and simply offered to give a report on habits of operation, but the reporters refused it. The next day, Merlot went to Kurtz's fiancée's house to give her Kurtz's last letter and tell her that the last word Kurtz mentioned was her name. His fiancée cried loudly, and then Merlot came out of the house concerned.
Part is the issue of the novel. The first one is imperialism. Marlowe has symbolized as someone who describing the imperialism itself. He said that he was impostor, so it can be interpreted indirectly that he was invading foreign soil. Near the cemetery, 2 more bundles of acute angels sat with their leg woven up. Here is shown the man who works too hard and looks like a slave. Marlowe called them bundle even creature. He didn't see them as humans, but he saw them as a system of slaves from imperialism. And it also explained that the native cruise ship, which was also a cannibal, was not given a decent meal. They worked so hard. White people didn't care if people eat or not. And the Kurds parts was also shown imperialism. It happened when Kurds, who are a white man, act like as if he were a god of native tribe that region and use them to attack village or other area for chest and ivory, or we can call that things that was symbolized as the greed of an imperialist or personal satisfaction. Okay, there are races. The racism in this novel can be found in some parts of the novel. Like Marlowe says here, they showed periodically together strings of amazing words that resembled no sounds of human language, and the deep murmurs of the crowd interpreted suddenly were like the response of some satanic litany. Here Marlowe described native races as their native savage. He also considered their language as non-human language and similar to satanic litany. In the part to look at him was as edifying as seeing a dog in a parody of Brecht and Featherhead walking on his hind legs. It shows that Marlowe compared a native people with a dog. He might as well see them as an animal.
And then, when Marlowe saw Kurt's native mistress that emerged from the forest and signed the other native to go, Marlowe also said she was savage and superb, with aid and magnificent. There was something ominous and stately in her deliberate progress. She views Kurt's mistress as a savage, and this is also one of the racism in the book because she labeling savage simply because she looks different physically. And next, in part, a nigger was being beaten nearby. They said he had caused the fire in some way. Be that as it may, he was screeching most horribly. And each section headed by a donkey carrying a white man in new clothes and tan shoes, bowing from that elevation right and left to the impressed pilgrims. A quarrelsome band of footsore, sulky niggers trot on the heels of the donkey. Black people are humiliated, accused, blamed, even made slaves. And the next is conclusion. So the conclusion is after read the novel entitled Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, we can conclude that imperialism and racism in the old days were a taboo things that was so pitiful. People didn't realize the effect of what they did to the victims. In this era, we should be more concerned about these issues in order to wipe out all forms of imperialism and racism.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for all your attention. I'm sorry if there are any mistakes. If you have any comment, please let us know by comment below of this video. I think it's enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.